Hello everyone, welcome to English Classroom. So this is the third session of the story Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. In my previous two sessions, I have discussed about the background of the story, the theme, summary and message of the story, and also the first and second part of the story were explained. Today, we will explain the remaining part, that is the third part of the story. So in the first and second part of the story, Mandela expressed how he felt on that inauguration day, on the great day of South Africa, and how he expressed his gratitude to those freedom fighters because they sacrificed their own lives for the freedom of South Africa. Now come to this third part. In this part, Mandela said about himself. In life, every man has twin obligations. Mark this line. So every man in life has twofold obligations. Two obligations. Obligations means commitment or duty. First, obligations to his family, to his friends, to his wife and children. This is the first obligation. Family, parents, wife and children. And he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. So one obligation is completely personal and another is universal. Okay? In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. In a civil and human society, society which is very courteous, very gentle, polite, and human, kind, compassionate, in that kind of society, each man, every man is able to fulfill those obligations as the person wishes, as the person has the tendency to do that, to fulfill the obligations, and as per the ability of the person. But actually, and Mandela is talking of his society, which was not so much civil and human. Means at that time the blacks were not able to fulfill these things. So that's why I said in a civil and human society it was possible, not in the society of the blacks. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. Yes. So he said the same thing, that in a country like South Africa, where the whites exploit the blacks, where everything is, you can say everything happens according to the whites, one cannot fulfill those obligations, especially a person of Mandela's birth, means a person who is black, belong to black community and black color. Okay, so they cannot fulfill both of those obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. So in South Africa, what happened earlier? A man, especially a black man, of color means black man, who attempted to live, who tried to live as a human being, like other human beings, a social life, was punished. So he was not allowed. He was punished and isolated. So what do you mean by isolation? You all know now, because you are now in a quarantined home. That's why you all know what is the meaning of isolation. Means to stay apart from everyone. That's called isolation. So that's why it is said that punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who, in South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. So what happened in South Africa? Who tried to fulfill the duty to the nation? At first Mandela said duty to the family or personal wishes or desires. Then he says duty to the nation or people. So what happens? inevitably ripped from his family and his home. So that person who wishes to fulfill duty to his nation, to his people, he was certainly, in a certain way, definitely ripped from his family and friends or home. So, ripped means to take away forcibly with force. So, he was ripped away and was forced to live a life apart. And he was forced to live a life apart from everyone, a life, isolation life, isolated life, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. And in that person, his existence is referred to as twilight existence. Means, you can see here secrecy refers to the darkness and rebellion refers to the light. Why? Because in twilight, it is after the sunset. It is neither darkness or nor the light or brightness of the sun. That's why it is a kind of twilight existence. Means the secrecy is the darkness here because no one can see what is happening. That's why secret. No one can see him. And rebellion means a kind of, you can say, fire inside the person. So, from outwards, you cannot see apparently that there is a kind of rebellion. But inside the person, there is a rebellion, means there is a fire. That's why it is called brightness. So, that's why it is called a twilight existence. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family. But in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. So he said again that South Africa was not a kind of compassionate country, was not a kind of human country earlier. That's why when in the beginning he chose that, in the beginning he did not choose. He did not choose to his people to be served. He did not serve the people above his family because at first he was not such, you can say, unselfish. Now he has become unselfish. But in attempting to serve my people, when he tried to serve the people of the country, tried to serve the nation, what he found? He found that he was stopped from fulfilling his obligations as a son because at that time the country itself was in a in utter problem and trouble. So to sort out those problems, sort out those troubles, one cannot find time to serve the family. That's why he could not serve his son, brother, mother, father, husband as a husband. So every duty was not fulfilled. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. It's very important also. So when Mandela was born, he was born in a tribe. Okay. So when he was born, he was free. He did not know what is slavery and what is the, you can say, what are the obligations. So he was free that time. He did not have any hunger that I want to be free. Yes, because he was free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. So, as a child, what he did, according to his freedom, he could run in the fields near the mother's hut, near his home. And he could swim in the clear stream, in the clear river that ran through my village or through his village, beside his village. And free to roast mealies. So he was also free to roast the sweet corns under the stars at night. And he was also free to ride the broad backs of the slow moving bulls, to ride the backs of the bulls. He was free. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So, because at that time he only knew the laws or rules of his father, and also rules of the tribe. He did not know other than this, or did not know beyond these rules. But now, when he came to know about the rules of man or God, that was the time he was troubled. So before that, he was not troubled by the laws of man or God. He was safe. Okay. So what is the laws of man or God here? The laws of man means what? Laws of man means the laws created by man to control the man. Okay. Or God. Here, God might refer to the people or the man who considers himself as God. That's why they can do anything. They can exploit everyone like this. They thought. That's why he might say that laws of man or God. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me. So, when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was illusion, so what happened? When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me. So, when I became young, in my boyhood, I discovered that my freedom had already been taken from me. In my childhood, there was every kind of freedom. But when I became a boy, became in my boyhood, I felt that my freedom had already been taken from me. Okay, and the freedom which I had, it was an illusion to me only, because I was in illusion. I was in a kind of delusion, in a false belief. It was my freedom. No, it was not a freedom. Now, at first, what happened? That I began to hunger for it. So then, when I realized that my freedom was an illusion only, then I began to hunger for it. So then only the hunger for freedom came to my heart. Before that, there was no hunger for freedom because I was free in every respect, as I thought. It was an illusion I came to know later. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom of being able to stay out at night. Sorry. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. You also want some freedom as a student. Because always there are some rulers. You can say like the parents, the teachers, the you can say relatives, all. So all of them, they try to rule you. They try to reign over you. That's why you always need some freedom for yourself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night. Transitory means temporary, not permanent. Some temporary freedom, like of being able to stay out at night. So, to be able to stay out at night with friends, up to late night, for some gossiping, and then come back. Okay, read what I pleased. So, he also wanted freedom to read what he wanted to read, and to go where I chose. So he wanted freedom to go where he wanted to go. So all these freedoms he wanted in a school life, in the school life. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential. Okay, so now he became older again. In Johannesburg, when he went to Johannesburg, he yearned. Yearning means what? A kind of intense desire or longing for something, to get something. Okay, so what he wanted here? The basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, my own strength. So he wanted to achieve his own strength. He wanted to be a kind of potential individual. Okay, of earning my keep means to perform work in exchange of money. So he wanted to work after that. So after his study, he wanted to work and income. He wanted to earn some money. Okay, of marrying. Yes, after that, after study, if he earned, then the next desire is to marry, having a family. Yes, after the marrying, there is a family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. So he wanted that his freedom should not be obstructed in a lawful life. He should be free in every respect to maintain his freedom. It was his idea. So first it was about the childhood of Mandela, then the boyhood, then he wanted, when he became older, he wanted to have a life of his own. Okay. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. So what is referred to here as brothers and sisters? Brothers and sisters of the country, his people. So that then he saw that not only was I not free, means it was not only me who is not free here, but who is a slave here, but all my countrymen were not free. So everyone was not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed. So what he saw then? That it was not only his freedom which was curtailed, which was restricted or reduced, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. Means, so freedom of everyone was curtailed who looked like Nelson Mandela, means who were blacks. So every black people's freedom was curtailed or reduced, restricted. That is when I understood or when I realized that everyone's freedom in my country, every brothers and sisters of my country, they are under slavery, they are exploited, their freedom has been curtailed. That is when I joined the African National Congress. So it joined ANC. And that is when, very important, underline this, the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So when realized that my freedom is not only curtailed, the freedom of everyone is curtailed. So his hunger for his own freedom, his personal freedom, individual freedom, it is converted to a greater hunger of the freedom for the freedom of his people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life. So I can say I developed a kind of desire for the freedom of my people, not only myself, to live their lives with dignity. I wanted them to live their lives with dignity, with respect and honor and self-respect that animated my life. So this desire actually animated my life. This desire, animated means moved my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. So at first I was a kind of frightened young man, frightened. I was afraid of everything. Only I thought about my own freedom. I was frightened. So I was transformed. I was changed into a bold young man, bold, very much brave. That drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. So at first I was a kind of lawyer. So law-abiding attorney means law-abiding lawyer I was. Now what? Now I want to become a criminal. So only for the sake of my people's freedom, I want to convert myself from the law-abiding attorney to law-abiding, law-obeying lawyer to a kind of criminal. That turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home. So now, before I was a kind of family-loving husband. I wanted to spend time with my family, but now I want to leave my home. I do not want my home. That forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. So I was a kind of life-loving man. I wanted to enjoy my life myself, like a selfish man. But now I am not a selfish man. I am unselfish like a monk. Now who is a monk? A member of a religious community living under vows of poverty and chastity, sacrificing every comfort. So here also Mandela wants to leave his family and wants to sacrifice all comfort for the sake of his people. So I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man. So I am also, now I can feel, when I left all this, when I am converted to this, I can feel that I am also that much virtuous, that much having the moral standards, and that much self-sacrificing like the next man, means like the other man in my country. So now I am I am very much proud of my country that I am also that kind of virtuous and self sacrificing like the other people of my country that they do. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. So, when I came to know that my people were not free, what happened to me? I could not enjoy even the limited and poor freedoms. It was true that freedom was not there for the blacks in the country South Africa, but still the little bit of freedom that was allowed to them, he could not even enjoy that freedom when he came to know that his people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all my people were the chains on me. So here freedom is considered as indivisible, not divisible. That cannot be divided. Okay. If you have a packet of biscuit, okay, so you can divide it. If the packet has 20 biscuits, you can divide it among 10 children by giving them 2 each. But here he said that freedom is indivisible. So if you have the slavery, the opposite of freedom, the exploitation, the you can say the reason for curtailing the freedom. If one is exploited, means everyone in the country is exploited the same. Okay, it cannot be divided. So if one of his brothers and sisters is exploited, means everyone in the country is exploited the same. That's why it said freedom is indivisible. The same pain would be felt by everyone in the country. So the chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. So if anyone was chained or shackled or put behind the bars, means everyone will be chained or shackled, and everyone's freedom will be chained and curtailed. And the chains on all my people means the chains on me. So all of my people are chained. Their freedom is curtailed, means my freedom is also curtailed. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Very important line. Please mark this line. So he said that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. How? You know, the oppressed must be liberated, who is exploited by the oppressor, because he is behind the bars, in jail. But how can you say that the oppressor must be liberated? Yes, Mandela himself gave the reply. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. This is the reason. Because the oppressor, who is oppressing others, who is a man who takes away another man's freedom, who is taking away another man's freedom, he is a prisoner of hatred. Means hatred makes him a prisoner. Hatred puts him behind the bars. Also, he is locked behind the bars of prejudice. Prejudice means a kind of strong dislike for any person without any good reason, which is based on some preconceived opinion. Okay, so you don't have any kind of personal enmity with that person, still you hate him, means it's a prejudice. That's why it said the behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. So narrow thinking, you can say the people who cannot think liberally, who cannot give respect to others people's opinion, who always think that yes, I am right. That's why it is called narrow mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. So Mandela has said here that if I take away another man's freedom, if I snatch another man's freedom, so I am also behind the bars of hatred. They also go with me. The prejudice, the narrow-mindedness, they all will go with me, always will be there within me. That's why my freedom will be also snatched or snatched away, just as surely as the freedom of the people whose freedom I have taken away. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Underline this line, very important. The oppressed and the oppressor are devoid of the humanity. Rob means here to steal, but here it means to divide up. So both of them are devoid of humanity. Yes, we know the oppressor is devoid of humanity. The oppressor does not have humanity. That's why he exploit or oppress other people. But the humanity of the oppressed is also robbed. It may symbolize that when the oppressor exploits the oppressed, so the humanity which was inside the heart of the oppressed will also be not there. He will also be a kind of, I can say, uh, cruel and unkind human being, that whenever he gets chance to oppress that person who oppressed him once, he will not, you can say, make him free, or he will not leave any chance of that. Means here the oppressed and the oppressor, both of them are robbed of their humanity. So this story tells us many things. Okay, this is a historical story, but still this story has a large scale importance, large scale significance in our lives. If you can follow the morals and the ideas that are given by Mandela, we can achieve many things in life. Okay, and we can make our goal fix, that what we should do and what we should not do. So that's all about today's today's video. So thank you.